Welcome to the Secret Handshake. I am Sev.
And I'm Dragaur.
Do you think they could have used more lava in this episode, Drag?
I think you could always use more lava. At least a little bit more lava.
A little bit more lava. Need to give Darth Vader some more PTSD.
Yeah, why would you set up your super secret Sith base on the place where you got torched? It's a little weird.
I think personally, I think it has to do with that Sith are a little bit, they like pain.
Emo?
Yeah, they're a little
They're
emo.
emo.
They're a little emo. They're yeah, definitely emo. Do you think Vader would listen to Blink 182?
Blink 182. No, he's listening to Taking Back Sunday and
Uh
Breaking Benjamin.
that sounds about right.
It is nice to see Darth Vader, though. I think he's pretty cool to see him be evil because I think a lot of people forget that Darth Vader's a bad guy. He does bad things.
Yeah, I would say so. I think there were some concerns that like he was going to be overly nice to like the third sister, but no, he's just still like I'll throw her right out the window as soon as she's an inconvenience for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He doesn't give a crap about her or anybody for that matter. I mean, they kind of show that in some other stuff that is not in this when it came to the Grand Inquisitor. I remember I didn't read the comic book, but I saw some panels from it about how he kind of was just uh, basically like Grand Inquisitor means nothing to me, and it's basically Palpatine's thing. At least in the comic books, that was the case. But in this, apparently, he's heading them up, or at least working with them, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw there. I think he is working with them. I think he just sees them as tools essentially to be used as pawns. Yeah, I think he's very much he doesn't care about the third sister. He just cares about getting back to Obi-Wan. Third sister, her goals are to become the Grand Inquisitor. He don't give a crap as long as he can get what he wants, which is Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's something interesting too. She blamed Obi-Wan for the death of the Grand Inquisitor. But that's another thing too, is a lot of people were like, "Oh, this kind of ruins lore that was set up in Rebels and this and that if they kill the Grand Inquisitor." And it kind of seems like maybe he's dead, or at least we don't know that he's secretly alive. I don't know, but
My thoughts on that is that he is alive. She thinks he's told him he was dead. He's gonna just show up, make her and tell the truth, and then she's gonna be in trouble, and she's gonna be like basically on the run or like something along the lines where she's basically he lives somehow and she's just basically getting in trouble or there's gonna be some consequences for her to deal with because of that.
maybe, yeah. I mean, the Sith in general kind of don't usually care if you kill your superior or whatever. It's kind of just a way to move up, at least in other media where the Sith is portrayed. So
Yeah, I feel like the Sith are about like you can do bad things. You're just a failure if you get caught.
yeah, pretty much. So maybe that's the way that it'll play out. Who knows? Or maybe the Grand Inquisitor is actually dead, in which case that kind of ruins other pieces of lore that were supposedly already canon. But who knows?
Uh or this is leading into a different timeline and the prequels, I mean the sequels don't matter.
I mean, are we giving them that much credit? I
No.
don't
No,
know.
not at all. So you notice at the beginning of the episode Ben is reaching out to the Force to Qui-Gon um
hmm
and he can he's not getting any responses from Qui-Gon still,
hmm
which I find kind of interesting. He sees Vicious of Vader, and he can tell that Vader's going to be coming. He knows there's something's coming,
hmm
and he can feel it in the Force or something. I personally think what's been going on is that Obi-Wan has detached himself from the Force, and I really think that's what he's just like almost completely detached himself from the Force. So when he's now using the Force in this episode, I think it is a lot of like he's not. It's really rusty
He's
for
out
him.
of practice.
Yeah, he's not really. Yeah, it's not something he's used to using because he hasn't used it in like 10 years.
Which is pretty evident at the end of the episode when he's facing down Darth Vader and not doing a very good job of it. So,
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. He described what the Force feels like. That was kind of cool. I mean, saying it feels safe.
yeah.
So, um, I also basically Obi Wan and Leia land on the planet. They walk forever, and he's sees Anakin. What do you think that like? You think he's like really struggling emotionally about that, and that's why he's having like these visions of Anakin?
I mean, I would assume so, unless it's some sort of force vision thing, but I don't know exactly what that would mean. Um, because I wouldn't normally take Obi-Wan as somebody that's going to like hallucinate or whatever, but I don't know. It's kind of a little bit uh, odd.
Yeah, because it's like Anakin before he was burned. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing. It's showing that I think he. It's just this. I noticed the series is really getting into showing how he has like I feel like regrets and struggling with those regrets.
Hmm.
In episode 4, you know how when Obi-Wan is fighting Darth Vader, you notice that he is fighting him. You notice that Obi-Wan is fighting him and not going like all out like episode 3. And I think that's because when you get to episode 4, he is like this same Obi-Wan, still like maybe not completely detached from the Force by episode 4, but he's still rusty, and I think that explains, it kind of goes into why episode 4, why he's not that like as powerful as he was when it's episode 3.
I mean, that's the probably the in-universe explanation for it, but um, as far as it actually being that way, I think that they just started making lightsaber battles more and more fancy
Well,
is
yeah,
what it amounts to.
yeah,
Um, but to be fair, the lightsaber battles that we see in the prequel, that's like Jedi in their heyday when everybody's at the top of their game and whatever. Whereas what we see in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is just Luke Skywalker doing his best. So
yeah, yeah. I think exactly, and I think like initially, I think Lucas was saying that the lightsabers were heavy, and now I think they're not as heavy. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a different thing now.
Um, but yeah, as far as in-universe explanations go, that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, I did notice that so basically the Inquisitors go to this like planet. They meet on this planet that it's like some kind of water planet. I don't know if
Hmm.
they said which planet it was, but
No,
it was
I think it's probably somewhere else in universe that's been talked about before, but I'm not sure. Like maybe in Rebels or something.
yeah, it was. I thought it was interesting. She, like you said, she came back, basically said, talks about Grand Inquisitor's dead, blames it on Ben, and then they sent out the probes and everything. You can kind of see though. I notice is that like the brother is more powerful in the Force, it seems, than she is, or at least
Hmm.
like would be able to control, what I mean, people and stuff like that, type of thing.
It seems that way.
And yeah, it's interesting to see the kind of conflict that's going on between them.
Speaking of Inquisitors in general, I find them all to be a little bit whiny.
Yeah,
They're all just a little bit like, well, you didn't do it the way that you should do it, and this isn't the way.
yeah, because they're not
I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss.
because they're not Sith.
I guess so.
They're whiny babies, and Inquisitors are wannabe Sith, and that's why they're terrible at. That's why they're not a Sith Lord because
I guess so.
they are not good. They're just dispensable troops that the emperor
Hmm.
uses to
Hmm.
um, basically get things done.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not. I think they're annoying, but I think they're meant to be annoying, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. Um, yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Obi-Wan kick their butts, but apparently they're making Obi-Wan not so powerful in this, which is fine, and like you said, connects to the future story, but it's still a little bit like, hey, Obi-Wan, maybe just, kill a couple of these guys.
I think you're gonna see him in. I don't know if any of the Inquisitors that we see already in Rebels. I think one is.
Not that I know of,
I think the
no.
brother is, isn't he?
Maybe. I don't think so, though. At least not the one I'm thinking of is a different guy, but he might be. I don't have it memorized or anything.
Well, if they're not in there, then they might be killed. What my assumption is that basically Obi Wan's kind of beaten down, and he's
Hmm.
going to either next episode or episode after that. I think he is gonna come back a little bit and start, actually using his lightsaber more and stuff like that. And you'll actually see a bigger, like a better battle. I think this is just kind of setting up like a setup of showing
Hmm.
him like he's weak, but showing that Darth Vader is powerful and stuff like that. So I think that's it's kind of leading into this thing of building up to Obi Wan and Darth Vader showdown.
Yeah.
So Obi Wan goes ahead, and they get to the spot with him and Leia get to the spot to meet that one lady, and he gets upset, and he just literally like within 5 seconds of being there, he's just like, "Well, they're not showing up. We're here at the right place," but he's just being cranky old guy. Just they literally just show up to the spot, and he doesn't even wait for a minute. He's like, "Well, they're not showing up."
Yeah, he's a little bit cranky. I don't know.
Cranky old man.
That does kind of track with the way Obi-Wan is in the prequels and the even in Clone Wars. He's very just sort of, I don't know. He's very like, impatient's the wrong word, but it's just more like, well, this is stupid. I guess we'll do something different now instead of waiting to see what happens. That happens a couple of times that I can remember anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's kind of like Obi Wan's kind of an impatient dude.
It's I mean, even in episode 3, when they're going after to save Palpatine and to fight Count Dooku and all that, he's very just like angry all the time about Anakin, jumping in and out of the elevator and whatever, and just very sassy. He's a sassy Jedi.
Sassy Jedi bet Obi Wan Kenobi. Um, I thought it was interesting. They met this guy Freck, who's very pro Empire.
Yeah, and an alien, which doesn't
Eh,
really match up, but I suppose they exist.
Yeah, I like he had a Empire flag on the back of his vehicle.
Hmm.
The seemed like a nice guy, but a little suspicious. And then he just literally was like, you know, decided to be a kind of a jerk and turn everyone in.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, Yeah, it was interesting to see an alien be on the Empire side, especially uh, one that's so Empire. He's just like, oh yeah, Law and Order is great, everything's fine, and he even picks up some stormtroopers that were out and gave them a ride. And I thought the stormtroopers were kind of cool too because you could see that their armor wasn't in the best shape. Like it was a little bit beat up. I think one at one point even had like a crack in their armor, and like a lot of it was really worn, which I thought was interesting. But it does make sense since it's sort of a mining backwater planet or whatever.
Yeah, and they're not really probably providing good resources for them and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I also noticed that I think one of the stormtroopers was presumably female stormtrooper, which was kind of interesting because I don't think we've really seen that before.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's like a first. Um, yeah, I can't really think of a time that that's been a thing, but I mean, they could have. Oh wait, I mean, if you look at Not in the movies. You're right. I think that the places I've seen it, I'm thinking off the top of my head, has been always in like extra material, other sources,
Mm,
like the
mm.
like video games and things like that, but not actually in like a movie or
Yeah, I
TV
don't
show.
recall that, but I'll assume you're correct.
Remember the Squadrons game? They had a the pilot, one of the pilots.
Oh, sure, the pilots. I've seen that before. They even had that, I think, in Rebels. They had some female TIE fighter pilots.
Yeah, there's
Um,
so
but it sort of shows that they're not clones anymore either. At
yeah.
least not of the original stock of clones. Um, they eventually start either recruiting or they make new clones or different types of clones. That was part of like the Legends lore too, that the clone world rebelled after the Empire took over, and so because of that, they sort of had to start cloning in other places and recruiting and stuff like that. But I don't. I mean, that's Legends lore, so that's not really anything
Well, if you go back to the
too much
previous
to
episode, you
discuss.
can see that they. If you go back to the previous episode, you can see that clone that was sitting there. They seem like they got just like kind of tossed the clones to the side already for some reason.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The clones are already old at this point, or older. The other thing that I thought was pretty cool was that they mentioned Quinlan Voss when they went into hiding with the lady that they eventually run into. They go into hiding and this little back room of this droid repair place, and it's sort of like an underground railroad type of thing for Jedi. I think they called it the Path,
Yeah.
so that Jedi could kind of escape and stuff to wherever they need to be safe. And one of the Jedi that had passed through there and wrote on the wall or carved on the wall was Quinlan Voss, which he's always kind of been a Jedi that I really liked. He was in the Clone Wars cartoon, I think, and I remember also reading some of the comic books that he's always been sort of on the side a little, like not a major part of the Jedi. It's almost like he's a spy for them, but he's still a Jedi.
Yeah, I think it was. I thought that was super cool because Quinlan Voss shows up in actual canon in which movie? I think it's episode one. Is it on Tatooine or something? He shows up.
Yeah, I think they show him. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's like this is the first time I think he's actually been named in the entire canon Y
I
series.
think he's in the Clone Wars, but and that is technically canon, so
Okay.
he does exist
Okay.
as a thing. Yeah, he is in the Clone Wars, but I don't remember. I have to rewatch them. It's been a long time, but I don't remember everything that he did in the Clone Wars TV show. But
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool though that they had his name and that he's still like alive or at least was alive recently and he's
mm,
actually helping. So he's being a good guy. I know
mm,
he went to the dark side and now he's coming back to the came back to the light. So that's cool. I think the quote they had in there was like only when your eyes are closed you can truly see the way or something like that. It was kind of interesting. I think it has to do with I think it has to do with that he's trying to, basically saying use the force type of thing,
mm,
trust in the force type of thing.
mm.
And I think that's significant for Obi-Wan because I don't think he's trusting the force. I
Yeah,
think he feels,
yeah.
I think maybe he feels betrayed by the force or something. I don't know.
The thing I thought was interesting or maybe annoying about them escaping out of that back tunnel. Obi-Wan decides that he's not going to, go through the tunnel. He's going to distract Vader so that Leia can escape. And somehow the Inquisitor stumbles upon the entrance, which I couldn't quite see how she figured it out, but anyway, she got in there, and then she somehow got to the end of the entrance from the beginning, even though Leia and the lady were like halfway down it or more. I assume. I don't know how far they were, but it's just very like, how did she know where the tunnel led, and how did she get to the end before they did? But
Yeah, I thought that, yeah, that was kind of She just stumbles upon it. Yeah, I thought that was kind of strange. And then on top of that, they show her finding, and then she just immediately knew, like, oh, I know where this is gonna lead, and then kill the person waiting there. I just,
Yeah, had time to kill the person, wait for Leia, make a cup of coffee.
yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I wish they would have given more context. I get why they did it because it kind of makes it like
Yeah.
because Talia goes ahead and she's running with Leia to escape, and then she decides like, oh, hey, you know what? Like, I really want to go save Obi Wan, right? So she then turns around and goes, tells Leia to go, and then she goes to show Obi Wan. So you're expecting what to happen is she's gonna meet up with the Inquisitor, she'll die, type of thing. But
Hmm.
I get why they did it, but it kind of makes it annoying. Also, at the same time, was like, how the heck did she get there? So
Yeah, she ends up helping Obi-Wan escape from Darth Vader. But I mean, technically, they're all still on the planet now, so nobody's really escaped yet. It's almost like the episode didn't really have a finish. It was sort of just like, and now everyone's in danger, and that was it.
yeah, I felt like
Which I mean is fine. It sets up the next episode, but
yeah, I feel like this episode it felt short to me because I think what happened essentially was only a few different things that progressed the story.
hmm
I think there might have been, it felt slow, but maybe being slow was helpful to, flush out characters more, show that,
hmm
Obi-Wan and Leia, showing a connection there, showing that, like, their personalities more type of thing, and the struggles. So I kind of get it,
the
but I
only
wish it would have moved a little faster.
the only issue that I really have is that the more interaction that Obi-Wan and Leia have that's meaningful makes less and less sense for a connection to episode 4.
I think I think that it was like she may not know that he is Obi-Wan because he says even to Talia he goes by Ben now, and to make sure that like Leia never actually is heard. So far that I've seen knows that he's Obi-Wan Kenobi. She just knows that his name is Ben.
Okay. I mean, I guess, but all right. I don't know. Maybe I missed that. I'd have to go back and look, but I thought at one point that she heard him called Obi-Wan, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so Obi-Wan and Darth Vader end up facing off, but Obi-Wan doesn't do anything. He just runs away and then gets dragged through some molten hot something. I don't know what it was that Darth Vader ignited on the ground, but he knocks over this tub of something. It's like metal, but like some sort of metal that ignited. I don't know.
Yeah, it's some kind of ignitable metal, probably like some kind of coal stuff or whatever. I
Yeah.
thought the whole thing with Vader coming down, it made it really. So Obi-Wan is sitting there hiding behind the door, right, watching it, and
hmm
he literally watches Darth Vader just kill a bunch of people, right? And so Darth
hmm
Vader is killing these people as because I think he's trying to draw Obi-Wan out, right?
hmm
And Obi-Wan is scared because he's not going out there and like trying to defend these people. He literally just, tries to run away, like you said. And you see Obi-Wan out and runs into that mine area. And as he's running into the mine, you see him essentially he doesn't want to fight Vader because you see the really cool scene. Vader pulls out his lightsaber. Obi-Wan is just like, nope, and and walks away, runs away, I guess, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It doesn't. The thing that doesn't make sense. Well, two things about the episode don't make sense. One of them being the Inquisitor being like, I'm at the end of the tunnel now. But the other thing is that Obi-Wan he like goes out there to distract Vader, but Vader didn't know where they were anyway, so he could have just as easily escaped with them and not been a distraction. And people were already dying anyway, so he didn't really stop anyone else from dying. So I'm not really sure how much he helped by going out there when if he had stuck with what's her name in Leia,
Talia,
I forget the lady's name.
Talia.
Talia?
Yep.
Yeah. If they had stuck together, then he could have defeated the Inquisitor if she did end up finding them in the same way, presumably.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, I guess, people do what they do because they think it's the right thing to do, but I don't know. I didn't really see his actions making a whole lot of sense at the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he could have probably escaped. I know that like Darth Vader can sense him and stuff like that because you know that happens in
Mm.
like with like Luke when he goes to Endor, right? He's like he's
Yeah.
endangering the mission and all that other stuff. So I think that like Vader could sense him and could sense that he was trying him leaving or whatever. But I think they had a far enough head start that they could have probably escaped, or maybe they would have just shot the ship right out of the sky. Who knows?
Who knows?
I I thought it was interesting though watching Obi Wan trying to like not fight Vader, and it kind of the way he had his lightsaber up, fearful looking. That like I was expecting Vader just to come out and just slash and you know
Mm.
right from behind, but like when Obi Wan had his lightsaber out and was like looking for him, but the way Obi Wan is fearful is reminds me of like how other Jedi that have faced like Darth Vader. Well, I'm trying to think. There's probably no. I don't know if there's any canon Jedi's have faced. I'm sure there is, but like if you look at Grievous from the Clone Wars and how the Jedi were fearful of him, right?
Mm.
So it kind of
Mm-hmm.
felt like that. Like he's just like a force to be reckoned with. But the thing is that Obi Wan knows who this is. It's not like
Yeah.
and he knows what he's capable of. So I don't. It was just kind of interesting to see him so afraid to
I,
fight him.
I assume it's just because he's out of practice, or at least that's their reasoning, so he doesn't think that he could defeat him.
Hmm.
But if he doesn't think that he could defeat him, or at least give a proper showing, again, I don't know why he didn't just try to escape with Leia and Talia. But whatever.
Yeah, I do notice that. Like, I wonder if Obi Wan has trouble fighting him because he's still, he didn't want to kill
True.
Anakin in the
That's
first.
why he didn't finish him off to begin with.
Yeah,
So
because that's his, consider him his brother. So he, I could see him struggling to even, fight again because he already emotionally went through fighting him already and killing him
yeah.
and accepting his death, and now here he's back again. I noticed that Vader was toying with Obi Wan though in the battle because like Vader's just using one handed, just like you know,
Hmm.
smacking him around a little bit with the lightsaber and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of interesting. That Vader's just like I think Vader like when you see the flames go up, he knocks it out so then the flames go away. But then the lady shoots she shoots the barrel that makes the flames come back and stuff like that. And I think that Vader could have gone over there and got Obi-Wan. But I think what the reason Vader didn't do that is because I think Vader saw he was already accomplishing. I don't think he expects Obi-Wan to get away from him, right? I think he's already being successful and what he wants is for Obi-Wan to suffer. And
Hmm.
obviously he did the whole burning to suffer just like he did in the, lava. But also I think part of it he let Obi-Wan go is because he already knows Obi-Wan is fearful and he basically it just let that continuously build up in Obi-Wan where he's just you know what I mean because like Obi-Wan's going to be he's basically running away with his tail between his legs, right? And so he's just
Hmm.
Obi-Wan is going to be even more defeated, even more scared the next time he even faces Vader a second time. So that's what I think Vader is, let Obi-Wan escape. I don't know. What is your thoughts on that? Why do you think he didn't just go over there and? Because I don't think the flames were an issue for Darth Vader. He could have went over there for any reason or knocked the flames out.
I mean, it was probably just. I mean, I assume it's just because he wants to capture Obi Wan alive more than anything. Um, and as for why he didn't knock the flames out, I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, I guess technically it could be a thing. They could force push the burning material out of the way or something. But I don't know if there's any other reason besides like story wise. It's like this is a barrier to give them time to run away.
Yeah. I mean, because
But
Vader knocks the flames out when he force pushes Obi-Wan in the first place.
hmm
The other thing I was gonna say, I thought it was interesting when they were in hiding, there was like a rebel symbol or whatever on there that was carved in.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. I saw that in the trailer and thought it was pretty cool that they had the. It's actually the Jedi symbol that the rebels like kind of change or adopt. I think it's different, but I could be wrong about that. It's the Jedi symbol though.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Um, I think it's the Jedi symbol, even though they're similar. One's like a phoenix, and the other one is a lightsaber with like wings on each side.
I think it was like a modified version that was in there.
You might be right. I don't recall off the top of my head, but I do know that it was the same thing that was in the trailer. So thanks for listening. Join us next time when we talk about episode 4 of Obi Wan Kenobi. Good enough.
Good enough. Stop recording.